Testing, testing. I hope all y'all can hear me who catch the replay of this live. First and foremost, I want to give the greetings of peace and salutations to you. In my language, we say Onjarama, and we also say Mi Salimion, which means basically I give you the greetings of peace, you know. And I just hope that whoever catches this stream is having a lovely weekend and having a very productive weekend as well. Um, so, I just wanted to come on here and kick the stuff a little bit, kick with some random topics basically that came to mind. And as I said, I'm going to try to hold myself to account and coming on live more often. And, God willing, we're going to have some guests as well, who are going to cover various topics with me, And, you know, I want to like really tap into something that's been happening lately now. It appears that as of lately, things were slowly beginning to reopen. Things were slowly beginning to come to pass. People were basically now, you know, you know, I wouldn't say getting back to normality, but people were basically at the time now, you know, you especially in California, you saw people eating out now. You saw people who were, crowding the beaches, crowding the parks and what have you. And, all of a sudden you read these news reports and there is a massive spike in coronavirus. As a matter of fact, they said that the United States is leading the world in the cases of coronavirus, you know, and this happened as the country was just opening up. So now I have to ask myself, okay, because we know the media lies. We know that the media is full of deceptions, and we also know who controls the media. So the real question now has to be, okay, why all of a sudden is there a spike in coronavirus? Why all of a sudden is the media now covering the news of the coronavirus when in the past couple of weeks, the news was George Floyd? Everything was about George Floyd. And I'm not taking anything away from George Floyd, but it's just a simple fact of why now are they deciding to now revert their attention back to the coronavirus? Now, again, I really think what this is I'm not saying that the coronavirus is not real. I'm not going to say that. I can't say that is something that's fake. But what I will say is that it is something that is being used for the advantage of a lot of people. Give me 1 second while I go handle something. Okay, I apologize for that wait. But what I'm saying is there's now a spike in corona in Florida, you know. There's now a spike in corona in Texas. There's now a spike in corona in California as well. It has gotten to the point that in Texas, they have called for another lockdown where they are closing the bars and where restaurants are only open for takeout. It's getting to that point again. In California, the governor has asked one county to go ahead and lock it down again. Okay, so we're reverting back to what we just went out of. And this is the thing, you know, I think the opening of the whole United States really was economically based incentives that these people were looking for. But the whole thing is, for me, I really don't believe that there is a recession because of the simple fact that how can there be a recession when you pretty much control the economy? You literally threw money away. And I'm going to tell you how they threw money away. Do you know that this country actually sent stimulus checks to dead people? I mean, who does that? You're sending stimulus checks to dead people? Really? Why would you do something like that? That makes no sense at all. Okay? How do you send, and we're not talking about thousands of dollars, we're talking about millions of dollars that they sent to dead people. How do you do something like that? That makes no sense at all. You know, this makes absolutely no sense, you know, and I'm just questioning to myself, okay, is there really a recession when you can do something like this? I, I just need to know. Inquiring minds want to know, you know. Um, Now, I really feel that this corona, and I'm not saying that it's not real. Okay, this is what I'm not saying. Okay, I'm not gonna say that sit around here and say, oh, this isn't real, it's fake. Okay, I'm saying it's real, but I'm also saying it's engineered because when you look at the whole corona thing, you know, Trump, he has passed so many sweeps, so many different things because of this corona thing. He was able to tighten up on immigration even more. It's harder to get a work visa now. It's harder to even go to school here now if you are an immigrant. Okay. He added that to his regimen, right? And I really think that by this media painting that the coronavirus is more now, it's just a means of prolonging voting and prolonging and finding a loophole so he does guarantee a second term. That's what I believe is the case. Okay. Malcolm X once said that if you're not careful, the media will have you your um, hating the oppressed and loving the oppressor. He said something to that extent. Okay. And now, again, it seems like we're back at square one with this corona. Okay. I would not be surprised if there's another quarantine that will be in place, you know, because it's looking to head that way. We just have to wait and see what happens. But I will say this on a personal level, me personally, I'm gonna program how I've been usually programming, you know, and my program is my studying, my training, and just my home life. Okay. I'm just gonna be honest with you. It's been a cool minute since I've been out and about with people. Okay. It's been a cool minute since I've been even in congregation with people, right? Because you just don't know. That's the thing. You don't know what the hell these people are doing. Okay. And so you just cannot be too sure on what we got going on right now. Right. Be right back again. Okay, I'm back. So, as I was saying, you just never can be too sure about what's going on with these narratives that they're pushing. You just don't know. That's all I'm saying about this whole situation. You know, we don't know what's going on, you know, and so we just have to really just like kind of stand tight about this whole thing because it's confusing. It's confusing for all of us. I mean, the the prophet, peace be upon him, said it best himself that there will come a time where there will be an age of confusion, age of deception, and I truly believe that we're living in these times right now. You know, for sure. And so, I'm not in any position to give anybody else advice on how to live their life or what they do, but I would just be take take precaution and safeguard yourself and just stay indoors, as much as you can. I mean, of course, we need essentials like food, things like that, but I would just stay indoors. I think that's the best bet, personally. Now, I wanted to segue into just some boxing talk, um, talk about some various divisions and things like that. You know, it appears that there, I mean, still, when you really think about it, although Top Rank has had cards, empty stadiums and whatnot, we're still kind of in a quarantine position right now. We're not really in a position of, how should I say, of, normality in the sports world as stadiums are empty while we watch. And this is kind of crazy because of the simple fact that that's how these fighters make their money. The fighters make their money a percent. Not only do they make their money off the purse, but the fighters also make their money from a percentage of the ticket sales as well. So this is one thing that we have to keep in mind um, when it comes to prize fighting. You know, and so one thing you'll notice with the fights that they've had is that most of the fights that they had are up and coming fighters and not so much big name fighters because of the simple fact that big name fighters, you know, are going to want more money. They're not going to want to fight in an empty stadium because of the simple fact they feel that they've earned their worth and that they need to like get their worth. You know what I mean? And this is why you don't see big cards, because I don't know. With this whole COVID thing, I think it's going to get to a point where people are going to be in the stadium with masks on. You know, that's how I feel it's going to be now. So I think one welterweight tested dirty, popped dirty, Alexander something. And so, I believe, I don't know how true it is, but I think that your Dennis Ugas had an opportunity to fight for a WBA regular title. And so I think he's going to go in that direction rather than fight Terrence Crawford in order to obtain that WBA regular title, provided he's successful against the opponent. I mean, one of a potential opponent could be Mikey Garcia, you know. What I will say though, however, is that, you know, I don't know if it you can really call it a Terrence Crawford duck because of the simple fact that you have to consider the politics of boxing due to the narrative that the PBC pushed that they really don't recognize the WBO belt, although he had a chance to fight for a WBO belt. And what needs to also be said is that um, that Terrence Crawford, uh, you know, he's been trying to chase a Pacquiao fight for the longest. So I don't even know if his mind is even on Ugas or not. You know, so it remains to be seen what's going to happen. You know, with Ugas and what direction he decides he's going to move in. But it'll be interesting to see nonetheless. So another thing is that the welterweight division, as I've said, is in like a flimsy. It's just talk here, there, and everywhere, and it looks like you know where Errol Spence, he didn't want a Ugas fight anyway, and I understand why he didn't want one. It's because of the simple fact that he feels that Ugas is, a good fighter. However, he's not a fighter of big notoriety, and he's not a fighter that will put, you know, butts in seats, so to say. I don't think he will do that, you know, because of the simple fact that throughout the only people who really know him throughout the boxing world are the hardcore fans, you know. But he's a very good boxer. Everybody knows. I mean, the only thing that he really lacks, I would say, is power. You know, that's the main thing. I'll say that I'll say that he's pretty pillow fisted. You know what I mean? Um, yeah. So we'll see what happens. And as I said, though, I don't think they're fighting anytime soon. I don't think these fights are happening anytime soon, due to the simple fact that what the revenue is not going to be there for these fights if they fight in empty stadiums, you know. And so another happening is that Jarrell Big Baby Miller tested positive again. So at this point, he just needs to give it up. Like if you're just gonna fight dirty, bro, just like give it up, man. Like you're not really taking it serious. You popped dirty twice already, and it's like at this point, bro, if you ain't gonna fight clean, you might as well just kiss it goodbye, bro. It makes no sense for you to keep on doing the same thing knowing that you're gonna get caught, you know. Obviously you're not good at it if you've been caught more than one time. So, you may need to rethink what you're doing and yeah, just give it a break. It's not gonna work anymore, you know. So with that being said, you know, he should just stop it, you know. And so I think he was supposed to fight in July on a card. I don't know who he was supposed to fight, but yeah, in July he was supposed to fight someone. I don't remember though. But yeah, he might as well just like kiss it goodbye because I mean, there's no point in there's no point in just uh just no point in fighting. You can't fight clean, so just don't fight at all, bro. Just don't fight at all. That's it. You know. That's all I gotta say. You know. Some other boxing news, basically. It looks like people are it it looks like that people are now um going back to this Tyson Fury glove gate. uh, s- scandal. It looks like people are going back to that again, and it looks like they're not looking at the glove in which he which they alleged that the it was flappy. They're alleging that the glove was flappy now, you know, and now um they're looking at the other glove, saying that there wasn't no cushion in it and that it was very, very flat, when they fought. And with that being said, they're saying now that, Tyson Fury, I mean, it's kind of interesting with Tyson Fury for the simple fact that, now he has, been trying to give respect to Deontay Wilder all of a sudden. Like you hear him do that, you hear him give respect and saying that people are disrespecting him now. And this is kind of unusual for Tyson Fury, someone who really just had it out for Wilder, saying all kinds of crap about him. This kind of came as a shock to me. Like, I mean, we know him to be one of the dudes who just like to insult Wilder so much. You know, now all of a sudden he like almost kissing up to Wilder, which I'm not getting. And maybe that kissing up has a lot to do with his gloves. That's pretty much what I think. You know, and so you can see pictures, and I don't know if they've been photoshopped or not, of the gloves being like very, very flat and what have you. So that's another thing in boxing. But even still, I'm gonna say this, and I've said it before. I said it again. You're going to have to somehow overcome the odds, even in that situation. The odds are already set up for you to not really be in favorable circumstances. Gravity is already pulling against you, it's not pushing with you. So, as I'm Team Wilder, don't get it twisted. I am Team Wilder to a T. Okay. But the fact of the matter is this: Team Wilder should have already known in the back of their head that, okay, he might cheat. We may have to have a game plan for him if he decides to cheat, due to the simple fact he's cheated in the past and he's popped dirty in the past, and that he has a history of substance abuse. That should have been in the head of Team Wilder. Okay, this guy has done this before. We got to be ready for it. So that's the one thing I have to say about it. They should have been really ready and been, you know, understanding on who they're dealing with. They're dealing with Tyson Fury, who we know has been notorious in doing double-handed um, things. So that's the one thing we have to like really remember when dealing with Tyson Fury. You know. So with that being said, now now the situation is that the situation as it stands right now is that I mean, I don't even know if officials in the boxing world are going to look at this. I mean, a lot of this glove gate is coming from, independent channels. I mean, it's not coming from any like official media source. It's not coming from them. So we have to just wait and find out what happens with that. Try and think of any other boxing news right now. that comes to mind. And I can't really think of anything. Mikey Garcia, of course, is flapping his gums again. I mean, honestly, dude needs to just move down from welterweight. You know, I don't know what he thought he was going to accomplish there, but it ain't happening. He just needs to move down because whatever he thought he was going to accomplish, it really ain't going to happen at welterweight. Those dudes are too big, too experienced, and the fact that he fought Earl Spence, you know, as a first fight at welterweight, it really just, he should have been like, he should have thought about it first and said, okay, well, maybe I should fight another welterweight just to get accustomed to the division. But nah, you went after the big fish, and the big fish bit you in several ways, in more ways than one. So, with that being said, he just needs to be quiet too. Be right back, people. Now I want to like finish it up. I've been here about 30 minutes on the live. I want to kind of finish it up with saying, talking about unity and things like that. And I especially want to talk about the unity between, I want to say, I'm not going to say, I want to talk about the unity between African people across the board, and also just African descendants across the board, but also those who have maybe a share of African ancestry somehow down the line, you know. Um, you know, when I really look at, who has gotten the short end of the stick in the worldwide system, in the worldwide system, it really appears that, you know, blacks, of course, and Latin people have gotten the 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 short end of the stick from their countries being turned into banana republics, and also, I want to say, the exploitation of their country, the pillagings of their countries, and what have you. And it's the same story with both continents. A few petty bourgeois get the benefit and get the little crumbs, whereas the majority populations are out to fight each other for the remaining crumbs, which is not much. And I really think, you know, that really to make some segue, like to really make some progress, that we have to unite as Black people across the board, or even those who may not, how should I put it, may not look like your typical Black person, but still have the Black gene, like Dominicans and the like thereof. And this is why this is so important to me. I'll give you a little backstory. And you've heard this backstory before if you've subscribed to my channel or been a long time subscriber. You know, my dad, he was a guerrilla fighter for our country's independence against the Portuguese elements and the French elements. When he fought, alongside him were not fellow African nations who, you know, could feel the same struggle, you know, and who understood what we were going through at the time. But on his side were Cubans who died alongside him, who fought alongside him, and, you know, would risk it all for a country that's not even their country. And so this instilled it, my dad instilled it into me early on that, you know, for us, the best thing, you know, for him, he said, you know, unity with them is something that we have to, you know, really push. And he's like, the way that we get ahead will be to be united with the Latin American world. And, you know, this my avatar of Thomas Sankara, you know, my avatar of Thomas Sankara that I have right now is actually from Venezuela. And it's called, you know, this is saying Foundation, um, Thomas Sankara, Deportivo and Socio-Cultural. So the fact that, you know, in Venezuela, a Latin American country, that they recognize Thomas Sankara, you know, and actually named a program after him, that just shows how far reaching and how similar we really are. But of course, I'm not speaking to all Latin Americans, because you do have a minority who are mestizo, who are mixed with, you know, indigenous and European, and then you have full-on European descended Latin Americans who adopt ideologies that are similar to Trump, and you will see at Trump rallies. You know what I mean? I'm not talking to them. I'm talking to the African ones and those who have some African ancestry inside, you know. But I'm also talking to the Caribbean as well, you know, that we shouldn't put walls against each other. And it's sad that I find that in most African countries, in most Latin countries, in most Caribbean countries, that the country, throughout history even, the country who decides to like go for radical change and change the order of the day to benefit the masses is the most hated country around them. You know, many Latin countries hate Venezuela, which is sad. When Grenada had their revolution, many Caribbean countries hated Grenada. When Burkina Faso had its revolution, Togo, Cote d'Ivoire, Mali, and even Senegal were its worst enemies because they were afraid of the sacrifice it would take to break away from old formulas, right? And so I really hope that with everything that has been going on, that we will take the torch or light a new torch and really say, excuse my French, I know I shouldn't be cussing, that us as a collective, as minorities, and I'm talking about minorities, I'm talking about African descendant minorities. This is who my audience is too. I would hope that with everything that has transpired and that is transpiring right now, that we would stick a big middle finger up and say, fuck imperialism. I'm going to tell you that imperialism encompasses exploitation. Imperialism encompasses the prison industrial complex. Imperialism encompasses, um, I want to say, without wording it weirdly or without wording it wrong, capitalism, or let's just say predatorial capitalism. Yeah, let's say that. Imperialism encompasses um, colorism. Imperialism encompasses self hate. Imperialism encompasses divide and conquer. I want to say that if imperialism was a tree, the things that I just named would be the roots and the fruits of that tree. Okay. So it we do need to take a stand and we do need to say down with imperialism, once and for all. Okay. How do we do that? I'm still learning myself. I'm still learning as I go along with this ride. But I think the best thing is a change in our mentality first and foremost, and then little steps forward in order to bring upon that change, you know, and understanding that everybody has a different role to play in that change, you know. But with that being said, I'm going to get off here. I've been on for like, I want to say 40 minutes now. And I'm not a type of dude who likes to talk for hours upon hours on end, unless there was a guest on the panel with me. But there hasn't, I haven't really been, how should I say it, um, really consistent in sending people invites or anything like that, or even letting people know that I'm going live. I mean, honestly, the way I do it is I just do it sporadically. I just decide one day, okay, I'm going to go live, you know, and that's what happens. So for now, whoever tunes in at the on the replay of this, I want to thank y'all for tuning in, and I want to thank y'all for visiting the channel. And if anything, I want to invite you to like this live stream and also subscribe to the channel. I want to add one more thing too. I want to say something else that was on my mind. You can be black by skin, but you can be colonial by mentality. And I've seen it played out many times, more than one occasion, you know. And so, with that being said, there may be like a black person that looks like you may be trying to be friendly to them, but they're standoffish because they're thinking the way you dress, the way you carry yourself, that you have nothing to do with them because they're so used to fitting in with the higher uppers and trying to gain their place in the higher uppers of society, aka Oprah Winfrey, aka Amber Cox, you know. And I'm not gonna lie and keep it completely funky. I I at one time thought that was the way forward. I at one time when I was like real young. Well, I'm saying young while I'm like around 11 years old or so. I thought that was the way forward because those are the images I was just being bombarded with all the time because of the simple fact I grew up away from my dad for a little while. I would go visit my dad and things like that. But, at one time I was like bombarded with those images, and those images became something that, at one time I aspired to, but then, my dad instilled into me good reading habits, and he would make me read, you know, a lot of the time. And no, once I read more about like what our people really went through, and once I read about what like the colonizer put us through, that's when I just like, unfortunately, it kind of turned into anger too, you know. And that's something I admit I need to work on. But sometimes I do have that like edge to me that like I'm really upset like with how things went down. We got played on like many of times, and you know, we often keep on playing ourselves when we ask the same people, for everything and demand everything, from the same people. Hey, top of the top in the room, and yeah, top of the top to everybody in the room. Thanks for stopping by. But yeah, when you read things that are written about us, things that are hidden from us in plain sight, it does make you mad. You know, I'm not gonna lie to you. When I read, as crazy as it sounds, and that's why I had to put this book down for a while. But when I read, I think The Wretched of the Earth by Frantz Fanon. Yeah, by Frantz Fanon. I read The Wretched of the Earth by him. I'm not gonna lie, every white person I saw, I wanted to knock out. You know what I mean? Because of the things you read about what really went down. A lot of times, black like people who are descended from prisoners of war who were brought to the Americas. I don't even like to call them slaves, man. I like to call them prisoners of war because that's what was going down at the time. I don't even like that word slave. But when you read about what we were going through in Africa at the time, it was slavery as well because they had forced free labor, where if you didn't work for the colonizer, you would get killed. Or if you didn't work for the colonizer, you would be jailed and you would be working for free. So we had a different form of slavery, you know what I mean? But it just made me very upset, just to hear about it. Made me very upset just to know that, colonizers, of course, they would separate and have different schools for, the different kids and stuff like that. And so that's why I think that people are afraid of the word radical because of the simple fact that radical means change. Radical means like a total upside down uh, trajectory change in the way things are done. Um, I think I've said many times on this channel that this channel is a sports, you know, oriented channel, but it also dives into serious social, economical, socio cultural issues. That's why this avatar is so fitting for this channel. But when I really think about it and really think about politics and stuff like that, I really say to myself that these aren't my politicians, at all. Thomas Sankara is my politician. Amilcar Cabral is my politician. Samora Michelle is my politician. Um, Walter Rodney, although he's not a politician, he's my politician. Stokely Carmichael, he's my politician. Maurice Bishop. Those are still guys I take my instructions from. I don't take my instructions from Trump. I don't take my I never took my instructions from Obama. I never followed those examples. I never even followed the example of Clinton, or the rest thereof. You know, those are the guys I follow. I don't follow these new guys. And I'm not one who's easily deceived by the glitz and glamour of these politicians, that they show. And so that's why I say to myself, yeah, man, I've been reading more, but I've been also trying to apply what I read more in every aspect of my life. You know, um, as I said before, I didn't protest because I knew for the simple fact the protest led to even more happening, and more did indeed happen. There has been actually there has actually been a series of police killings, related killings since these protests. There was actually one police killing that took place right down the street from me with the 18-year-old security guard. You can protest peacefully, but they don't know peace. That's the thing. You can't protest peacefully when against a system that was based on violence and based on murder, based on stealing, and based on theft. It just doesn't work. Your needs are not going to be met. You have to do something else that's way more drastic for your needs to be met. You know, the United States has never had a coup d'etat. You know, and sorry to say it, but when you really think about it, salute, salute, bro. When you really think about it, that's what changes systems. The systems change through radical means. The systems don't change through protests, as people think they do. So I'm like, for me, I just sit back and watch and observe, and I just observe things getting actually worse. Cops, when you protest and stuff like that, you make cops more like justified in doing shit. Like a cop can, I kid you not, a cop planted the gun on the person that they shot down the street, the security guard, because I knew that the type of security he's working, I think he worked at a security like he was doing a body shop working. You don't carry a firearm, but they said they found a firearm on him. And what they did is they put the firearm on him. He didn't have it at first. So yeah. And it's about to approach an hour. I said I was going to be done in 30 minutes, but what I will say that needs to happen is a do-it-yourself attitude needs to be done, you know, because with a do-it-yourself attitude, you're anonymous to all the other things that are going on around you. And that's why I mess with the guys that I name so much, because for the most part they had to do it themselves attitude. You know, they told the people, listen, this is your life. This is your country. Step on the gas and do what you need to do to change your country. You know, I'm going to be the catalyst for change, but you're part of the change too. And no president in the United States is ever going to be like that. You know, that's why I say Westminster democracy is so much of a joke. Westminster democracy is the biggest joke I've ever like experienced in my life. Like it's just a stupid joke. Okay, you mean to tell me we vote for one person for 4 years and that person does whatever he wants, not consenting us and not finding out what we need? So that's why I say do it yourself attitude. And in order for a do it yourself attitude to take place, finances are needed. And even if it means two people coming together to put their coins together for a cause, so be it. That's how it has to start. Even if it means four people coming together for a cause, put your coins together, make something happen. That's how I look at it. You know, build that partnership with your brother. Take those steps forward with your coins until other resources become available, you know? But with that being said, man, I'm just going to get off this live. I hope what I said did possibly spark some people, inspire some people. And I'll be back with another live soon. If anybody ever wants to go live with me, man, send an invite, man. I'll be happy to send a link. It's not no problem. I'll send you a link and we can we can chat, man. But until then, shout outs to the whole LDBC. I know I haven't been on no panels with any of the members, but I'm still open. If anybody want to do a panel, I'm open to talk some boxing or whatever. Or if anybody want to have a panel for anything, I'm still open to it. But anyhow, man, thanks for tuning in, and I'll be back soon with another one. Njadama.